Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'll be talking about the weather health stress for March 2nd, 2026. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. We maintain a patient weather storefront on Amazon. Amazon purchases made through our patient weather storefront support the activities of patient weather. Looking at the surface map for Monday, we do have a massive low pressure center trying to brew about Utah into Colorado, keeping unsettled weather across the northern half of the Four Corners and extending on up into Wyoming, southern Idaho, and even stretching back into Nevada. We do have another meandering front stretching all the way from Wyoming, clear on down into North Texas, and then back through Tennessee, and then hanging back down to Atlanta. And that frontal activity will be keeping a lot of unsettled weather all the way from the Central Plains to the Middle Mississippi Valley, across the Ohio Valley and the Middle Atlantic states. Looking at the vitality index, which is a composite, a measure of all of those weather elements that we think will have an impact on human health. And you'll note we have something brewing here in Utah. We have a lot of activity up here in the northern plains, pushing toward the very upper portions of the Great Lakes. Another interesting little bump right along the Carolinas and extending on north all the way into New England. Looking at pressure change, and pressure change is also important for those with headache and migraine, we have falling pressure extending from Utah into southern Idaho and picking up some of Wyoming, across Wyoming into Colorado, up and down the plains from Nebraska up through the Dakotas, into the Middle Mississippi Valley from Iowa up to Minnesota, and across the westernmost Great Lakes, Wisconsin, and the Michigan Upper Peninsula. We have rising pressure stretching all the way from Georgia, across the Carolinas through Virginia, picking up Maryland, eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, the easternmost portions of New York, and all of New England. Looking at temperature change, and that's very, very interesting, with again some falling temperatures here in Utah, falling temperatures again in the Carolinas, but notice a very nice warm up here in the northern plains across the Great Lakes, especially on into southeastern Canada. Looking at dew point temperature change, and it's very much a reflection of temperature change, vapor pressure holding much the same, although you'll note that we are picking up a lot of moisture starting to build here in the northern Gulf. Looking at the change in oxygen availability, you'll see we have that risk of migraine, an extensive risk of migraine, all the way up and down California into southern Oregon, and pushing across almost all of Nevada. We also have a touch of migraine risk here where the southwestern portion of Oklahoma touches the Texas border. A little bit of activities in terms of migraine here in western Tennessee, and then a significant area of migraine from Georgia, especially northern Georgia, across South Carolina, very sharp in North Carolina through Virginia, up into Maryland, and the easternmost portions of Pennsylvania, the southeastern portions of New York State, and almost all of New England. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, tell us where you're located.